Okay, so we're going to talk about Maya's training so we can stay consistent at home, and we're first going to start by talking about her remote collar and her tools. So we're going to go over how to turn the collar on. So the collar itself does not have an on-off button. What it does have is a magnetic key that's a red dot right here. The magnet that matches that key is on the remote itself. So we have a little red dot on the side. So the reason there's not a button is so that if Maya were to scratch the collar and accidentally hit a button, she might turn this off and then it's not going to work. So we have this little magnet. We're going to touch the two together very briefly. That way the green light flashes. So if you watch up here, we're going to touch the two together. You'll see a green light flash. That green light means it's on, charged, ready to go. If you do it again, you'll see a red light, and that turns the collar off. So you can turn the collar off at night. It'll last about 2 days on a charge, so you don't have to charge it every single night. And then turn it on in the morning. Flashes green to let you know that it's on, charged, ready to go. If you see a different color flashing, that means the battery's running low, like orange or red. So we turn the collar on first, then we put the collar on Maya. Then we're going to turn the remote on. So the remote has an on-off button in the back. We're going to push and hold that button until the screen lights up, and I'll show you. Push and hold until the screen lights up, and you can see that her level is at 25, sorry. And that's basically what we're going to use to correct her for any unwanted behavior. So we're going to focus on the black S button here, and I'm going to show you. So let's start with the command heel. Heel means walk next to me on a loose leash, so she's not pulling ahead. The key here is loose leash. So we're not making her walk next to us with leash pressure. It's her choice to walk next to us, because if she does, she's going to get treats. If she doesn't, there's going to be a consequence of the remote collar. So let's say we're walking her in a heel and she starts to walk too fast and starts to try and pull us. We're going to say no. We're going to verbalize no. Then we're going to follow through with the black S button. And then we're going to say heel. So my thumb twitches a little bit when I push the button because this is an electric muscle stimulator, so it stimulates the muscle and contracts it a little bit. But anyway, no, heel. So you say no to mark the incorrect behavior, you follow through with your remote, and then you remind her of what she should be doing in that command. So heel means walk next to me on a loose leash. If you do, great. Reward, praise, petting, treats. And then if not, no, heel. So that's what we're going to use with all the commands. If she's not doing the command correctly, we're going to correct and then remind her of what command she should be doing in the first place. So it's always no, black S button, and then repeat the command. And I can feel that, but it's not too uncomfortable or anything. It feels like a little bug just like landing on me. So anyway, we're going to talk about the rest of her commands. So we're going to have her heel with us on all of our walks, but she does get free time to sniff. So when it's that time, we tell her free, we walk her to some grass, and then we just kind of follow her and let her sniff, do her business if she needs to. And then once she's done with that, we're going to have her heel with us again. That builds our bond, and it just makes sure she's not going to get into the bad habit of pulling us forward again. So heel means walk next to me on a loose leash. We're going to use that for all of our walks. Then we have sit. Sit means stay until she's told either free or heel. So let's say example at door manners, we'll have her sit. As we open the door, we're going to remind her sit, because if we just walk through the door, she's going to 100% just follow us. But if we remind her sit and then walk through the door, then she understands, oh, you want me to wait here, then you can tell her free. Or you can just have her sit, open the door, and heel through the door together. You don't have to go out first. It's not a big deal, whichever one's easier for you. But the heel command can break the sit command, or you can tell her free, then heel, whatever's easier for you to kind of remember. Then we have down. Down means lay down and stay. So we tell her down. If she doesn't lay down, no, collar, and then tell her down. But we're going to use her prong collar also. So whenever we're practicing down, I suggest the first times you practice it, you want to have the leash on her in the house. That's for the first couple of days she's home in general, just so we can help her stay consistent. So to take this off, you follow the prongs links by pushing it down and pushing up at the same time, and then you pinch these together to make sure they all look like that. You can't take this off and then try and work it this way. It just won't work. You have to do the pinching together and lock it in like that. So anyway, let's say my hand is Maya. You want to hook the leash to the D ring, not the circle ring, because if we see the D ring, it loosens as it should. the circle, see how the collar doesn't loosen? It won't work properly. So we want to make sure that we use the D ring, the one with the flat side. Do not attach it to the circle because again, you see there, it's not loosening as it should. So anyway, with down, no, correction, down. If she's still a little confused, we'll use a little, no, tug down. It's a tug and release. It's not a pull. For everything you use with the leash, it's a quick tug and release, not a pull. But you're going to use the remote collar first, this second if you need it. Same thing with heel. If she's trying to walk too far ahead, you might just give a little tug of the leash. But again, follow through with the remote collar first, leash second. So that's down. Down means stay until she's told free. You always go back to her. So let's say she's in a down over here and I'm over here and 10 feet away. I'm not going to tell her free and call her to me. I'm going to go back to her, good down, and then release her. What that does is it strengthens her down stay, her sit stay, her play stay, and lets her know that I'm not supposed to get up until my human comes back and releases me. That'll create a really solid stay for the future if you want to take her out to dog-friendly events and put her in a down while you're shopping around at a farmer's market or anything like similar to that. And then free is the same command to get up, or you can tell her heel if you want her to walk with you, whatever the case is. But just remember to remind her of what you're doing before you actually do it. If you're going to walk away from her, down, then walk away. Then as you're coming back, good down, reward, tell her free. Whenever you reward the down, make sure you reward low. Then we're going to talk about place. So place means go to your bed on a boundary, like when guests come over, because it gives her a little bit more freedom. She knows the structure that she needs to stay on, but it gives her freedom to lay down, sit, stand if she wants to readjust or get comfortable, where down means lay down. Place is just stay on this boundary and don't chew or bark or get off until I tell you free. So when we reward her on place, we put the treat on the bed so she understands the boundary is what produces the treat. And then again, place, we go answer the door when our guests come over. They come in, get comfortable, good place. We go back and reward her. And then if she's calm enough, we can tell her free to go say hi. And if she tries to jump because she's excited, we can always use the remote collar and tell her no, and then reward when she does politely greet somebody. It's a nice balance of rewarding the behaviors we want to keep seeing and correcting the behaviors we don't want to see. So then we have come when called. Whenever you say come, it means come from point A to point B with me. It's not come walk with me, that's heel. You want to say come as she runs to you, good girl, have her sit, then reward. So it means come when called, not follow me. So whenever you're practicing this, make sure you have a long leash on her, especially if you're not in a fenced-in area. That way you have that as a safety net. Whenever you practice with her, let's say you're practicing her out at a park, and you've done this several times before, you still have your 30 to 50 foot leash on her, but you notice, I don't really need to use that leash ever. That's when you can start exploring the option of off leash. But of course, stay smart, don't do it around traffic or anything like that where she could get herself in a dangerous situation. And when in doubt, always have that 30 to 50 foot leash on as a safety net. But again, when you realize you don't really need to use it, that's when she can kind of get to the off leash part. Then we have leave it. Leave it is don't grab that, right? So when you drop something on the floor, tell her leave it. Now, the difference between leave it and all the other commands is that leave it in itself can be a correction. You don't have to say no, leave it. You can just say leave it, and then you're done with it. Practice with dog safe foods first, and then you can have that as a safety net in mind if you drop something like pills or anything on the ground. So that's leave it. And then of course we talked about free. Free means go sniff and explore. So those are her commands, and that's how we're going to stay consistent, is with her prong collar and her remote collar, following through with all of the commands, making sure we reward the behaviors we want to see to increase the rate of those behaviors and correct the behaviors we don't want to see to decrease the rate of those behaviors. So a quick recap. Heel, walk next to me on a loose leash. Sit means stay until told free or heel. Down means lay down and stay until she's told free or heel. We don't free from a distance. Place, stay on your boundary until you're told free, which we don't free from a distance. Come when I call. Not come walk with me, but you're over there sniffing and I want you to come to me. The more you practice these commands, the sharper she'll be. If you go 6 months without practicing something, she will need a little refresher on it. And then leave it, don't grab that off of the ground, and then free, you're released from your command. So those are her commands. What you want to do is have fun, practice daily, and stay consistent. And now we're going to show you Maya's commands in action.
a night like any other.
Yeah.
Using beyond advanced active ingredients like bicyclopyrrole.
Yeah.
After our GT post-emergent form herbicide is here to annihilate zombies. Advanced technology, enhanced control. Talk to your Syngenta retailer about Acuron GT. Always read and follow label instructions.
Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Free. Good job. Sit. Leave it. Or lay down. Good job. Okay, free. Free. Okay. There you go. Good job. What are you doing? What are you doing? Leave it. Good job. Good job. Okay. Look, free. Okay. Get it. Good job. Come here, Mike. Ready? Leave it. Good girl. Good job. Good girl. Free. Free. Get it. Good job. Place. Good girl. Good place. Good place. Place. Good girl. Place. Good place. Good place. Place. Good place. Free. Look at the toys. Look at their toys. Good job. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to go over the rest of the features of this remote collar. That way you know what all the buttons and gadgets mean. So we've turned the collar on. We've kind of showed you how to turn the collar off, right, by touching the two together, and you see the red light. So we'll turn this on. To turn the remote off, you push and hold this back button here until the screen is dark, the big button in the center. It'll say OF, and then you know it's off. Push and hold it to turn it back on, and you're good to go. So we talked about this level is the black S button is 25. The red S button is for emergencies only. We're going to use this button if we absolutely have to. I have not needed this yet for Maya, but you might need it in the future. Let's say you're practicing and she's doing really well and you decide to take her off leash and she takes off after something that's now putting her in a dangerous position. You've called her back, you've tried the black S button, she's not listening. The reason is because if her adrenaline's pumping, she might be able to kind of work through this level of correction, so we need a kind of quick boost to snap her out of it. That is going to be the red S button. It's going to actually go plus 20. So if we push it down, you'll see that it goes up to 45. This should be a big enough jump to get her attention back on us. So you'll see, even if I push and hold the button, it only stimulates while the red light's on. So you would need to tap if you wanted it more than just the one time. And then of course, call her back, and you're always the reward, right? Even if you have to correct her for not coming to you, you still want to reward her for coming to you because you're the positive thing, not you correct her out there, so it's time to reward her when she gets to you. So emergencies only, don't accidentally push that button or anything. And then we have the T button over here. This is vibrate. So if we push and hold that, it's just going to vibrate the collar. We can use this as a warning in the future. I wouldn't recommend it doing a whole lot now because she will then kind of not take you seriously when you're asking your commands. If she makes a mistake and she understands what that mistake is, correct her for it so she doesn't continue to make that mistake. But as she gets older and you've practiced the training a ton, you can use this as a little warning vibrate, like, hey, you're doing good, but you made a little mistake. No, whatever command you're working on. Then we have the little M/C back here. That changes the collar from momentary to continuous. She doesn't need that right now. Momentary is where even if I push and hold the button forever, it's just going to stimulate that one time. Continuous would stimulate the entire time my hand is holding down on the button. So we don't need that in her training. We use that in the beginning with lower levels, but now we're to the point of avoidance where if she does the command right the first time, she doesn't feel the collar at all. Only when she makes a mistake will she feel the collar or doesn't listen to the command. Then we have the on-off button in the back. That is the light button also. So instead of pushing and holding it to turn the remote off, if we tap it again, the light's on. Tap it one more time to turn it off. So one tap is a flashing light so you can see her at night. Another tap is a flashlight feature, and then one more tap turns the collar or turns the flashlight off. This should last about 2 days on a charge, but the flashlight will drain the battery if you accidentally leave it on. So it only takes a couple hours to charge, but keep that in mind. It'll last 2 days on a charge, so you don't have to charge it every single night. Now, 25 works for her now, but this can change in the future. How to change that? The dial's locked right now. To unlock it, you're going to push down and hold until the 1D is flashing. Now we can turn it down, and then we can also turn it up as needed. So we want a level that's high enough to get the point across, but not so high that it's scary for Maya. So just enough. So when she goes home, 25 might work well. She might need less when she's home. She might need more when she's home. You kind of adjust it by 5 until you find the right level for her. So 25 works now, but again, 6 months down the line, 25 might be too much, so we turn it down to 20, or 25 is not enough, we turn it up to 30, whatever the case is. When the 1D is flashing, that means you can adjust it. So we're going to turn it to 25. It's very sensitive. Then we're going to lock it in place. Push down and hold it until the 1D is solid. 1D solid, it's locked. It's not going anywhere. Then on the back here we have the charging port. That's where the charger is going to go in. Make sure that little plastic piece is shut to keep the collar waterproof. Same thing under here. We have the little rubber part rechargeable. So I'm going to turn these off, set them to the side. So red light off, push and hold until the screen is blank. And then you already know the prong collar attached here, so it'll tighten and loosen as it should, the D-ring. And then we have the original strap that the collar came on. We have the bungee quick snap on it right now. And then we have the charging port to charge both the remote and the collar at the same time. She should wear the collar every day. Even if you don't, plan on having her off leash or practicing recall. The reason she should have it on every day is because if she does something and you tell her no and no correction happens, she's going to start to connect the dots and understand that you can only follow through with your commands when she's wearing the remote collar. So have her wear it every day so she does not become collar savvy. She doesn't have super duper long hair, so I did not change her to the extended prongs, but you have them as an option. And then this little black tool is to tighten or loosen the prongs on the remote collar. By prongs, I mean these little guys right here. And then we have the instruction manual at the bottom. This collar does have a 2-year full warranty. So if anything happens to it in the next 2 years, you can get it replaced. Oh, the charger. And the email and information is right here. The serial number for the collar is underneath there. That was upside down. So, like I said, she needs to wear this all day, 12 to 14 hours a day. Take it off at night. If she gets wet, that's fine. It'll work underwater and that's fine. But you need to take the collar off when she's done and dry that area thoroughly, because if water gets in and moisture and bacteria, she can create a skin infection, which could lead to a hot spot. So we want to make sure that we keep that area nice and dry, because this does have to fit snug, allowing the contacts to make good connection to her skin. So being so snug on her neck, there's not a lot of breathing room for her skin. So you want to make sure that the collar is snug, but also it's dry in that area so that she doesn't create a hot spot or skin infection like that. So you want to have fun. Practice your commands at least weekly so she stays up to date on her skills. If you go a little bit, like let's say you go on a vacation for a couple weeks and you come back, you might have to kind of catch her up a little bit if she wasn't able to work on the commands while you were gone. The more you work on them, the sharper they're going to be. Make sure you have fun, stay consistent, and let us know if you have any questions.